Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 10,013, written by SimMinnie. I am the Immortal driver. This happened 24 years ago, in the year 1999. I completely forgot about this incident until I read a Reddit post very similar to my own experience, and it jogged my memory. I was home from college for the summer, visiting my family. One day, I asked my mom to borrow her car so I can go visit my friends who stayed at the dorm during summer vacation. She said I can have it, but I need to be home before 10 a.m. the next morning because she needs a car the next day. My college was about an hour's drive from my house on a good day. Some friends of mine would take it in 45 minutes. The fastest driving time I had heard of was 35 minutes. Late at night, no traffic, driving like the wind. I got to my friend's house, our dorm residence, in the early evening, and we decided to drive down to the nearby casino, about a 30 minutes drive, to pass the night. We were a group of about 5, 2 of my roommates, 2 other friends from our dorm, and I. We had a great time playing on the quarter slot machines. Once we were all tired and were ready to leave, we headed to the lobby doors and realized it's early morning, around 5 a.m., and it's pouring rain. It was raining so hard, we could barely see the first row of parked cars just in front of the lobby. We waited for about 30 minutes or so for the rain to slow to a drizzle, so we could drive home and make the 30-minute drive without incident. When we got to the dorm, it was around 6 a.m., and the rain was pouring down again. So I resolved to wait it out as long as I could. I still had to return the car to my mom, and had at least an hour's drive, if not longer, due to the weather. When I left the dorm, it was around 7 a.m. One of my roommates stayed up with me until I left, and we both noted the time as I was leaving. I got to my car a few minutes later and started driving towards the highway. I was really tired since we basically pulled an all-nighter at the casino, but I had to drive home to return the car to my mom. I do not recommend driving tired. I told myself I'll be fine. I cranked up the radio to my favorite station, lit a cigarette, opened the window for some fresh air, and so off I went. Again, please do not drive while tired. Within 10 minutes or so, as I'm driving on the highway, the rain starts pouring again. It was so bad I could barely see the wipers of my car. They were at the fastest setting, and it's like they weren't doing anything. But the rain was kind of hypnotizing. The rhythm sort of started lulling me to sleep, but I didn't really notice. My blinks kept getting slower and slower. What happened next was in a span of about 3 to 5 seconds, not more. It's kind of hard to explain. I was awake one moment, sort of, and the next my consciousness woke up to darkness. Kind of like when you wake up in the morning, but you haven't opened your eyes yet and you are slowly starting to be aware of your surroundings. How comfortable and warm you are in your bed, etc. That's basically what happened. I am aware of being awake, but it's dark. I don't even notice my eyes are closed. I'm comfortable, but I seem to be in a sitting position. My hands are holding on to something, but I'm not sure what it is exactly. I'm just really comfortable and I don't want it to change. I kept thinking, just 5 more minutes. I don't know for how long my eyes were actually closed. Suddenly, I hear a really, really loud crash, almost sounding like a clap, but unlike anything I ever heard before. It sounded like metal on metal, but I wasn't sure. It got me to open my eyes, and the first thing I notice is that I'm in my car, and all I see from the window is a wave of water heading towards my windshield really fast. When it hit the windshield of the car, it sounded like the glass should have broken from the impact. It was the loudest slap sound I ever heard, before or since. I'm in momentary shock as I take in my surroundings. I'm still in my car, driving perfectly straight in the leftmost lane. On my left is a concrete barrier just a couple feet away. On my right, I was just overtaken by a huge 18-wheeler truck. That is what made the wave slap my windshield. Heart pounding, I rubbed my eyes and forced them open as far as they would go. Determined to stay awake, I turned the music louder and opened the window to let the rain hit me in the face, along with some much-needed fresh air. The entire time I was thinking, holy crap, I could have died. I probably should have died. Then another thought hit me. What the frick was the first loud crash I heard? The time elapsed between the first and second claps was about 1 second. Me hearing the loud clap, opening my eyes to a wave that crashes to the window with another but different sounding loud clap. But all of this wasn't the craziest part yet. Since the rain was very strong, I wasn't driving more than 50 to 60 kilometers an hour as opposed to the usual 100 kilometers an hour. This means that the trip should have taken twice as long as it normally would have. I figured I would be home by 9 a.m. at the latest. The rest of the drive was uneventful, and I made it to my building, drove into the very large garage and all the way in the back to my parents' parking spot. Then I walked back to the elevators by the entrance and took the elevator to the 19th floor. Walked down a long hallway to my apartment, went into my room and crashed on the bed. Right before I passed out from fatigue and probably shock, I remembered to send my roommate a text message to let her know I made it home safely. I was so tired I'd even check what the time was. I just crashed. I woke up to a bunch of messages from my roommate. I don't remember them verbatim, but they were something like, "What? No way! You must be joking! Where are you? Hello? How did you get home so fast? No way you're already home. Are you okay?" It takes me a while to figure out what she's talking about, while remembering my harrowing journey from the morning, because it was then that I noticed the time of the text that I had sent her before I went to sleep. It was showing at 7:20 a.m. There is no way that it's possible to travel around 90 kilometers in a span of 20 minutes in a rainstorm, where you can't even see the lanes of the road or even the hood of your car, while trying desperately not to fall asleep and apparently failing at that. I don't know what to make of this. After reading a whole bunch of other glitch stories, I'm pretty sure it may have been a case of quantum immortality. However, ever since that day, I have been experiencing all kinds of paranormal phenomena throughout the years. I'm pretty sure this was the catalyst event to them all. Well, except for one. This memory is now so clear, as if it happened yesterday. I will never forget it. Case notes are file 10,013. I am the Immortal driver. So this is a wild confluence of glitches, and if quantum immortality is involved, which you'd think it could be, because in a situation like that, driving on the freeway in heavy rain, with such heavy rain that you can't see with the wipers going full blast, next to a 18-wheeler, yeah, probably something bad happened there. But it's not the end of the discussion, because you know that you literally traveled faster than physically possible because of the text, and because your friend reacted to the point where they didn't understand at all how it's possible you traveled in that length of time. If somehow it was just quantum immortality, and you left earlier than you thought in the other universe, well, your friend wouldn't have reacted in a way that would suggest that it's odd. No. It really is a point where somehow you had a quantum immortality event, probably. Maybe you didn't, actually. And maybe this is just a time glitch. Maybe the perceived glitchiness of the driving event where you had this, maybe it was kind of like precognition, where you knew something was coming, your mind snapped you out of it with this loud sound that wasn't real. It was just what was real of what would have happened if you didn't wake up, and then you perceived the splash of water on the windshield from the 18-wheeler as very loud. But that simply could be because you're in this daze from being in and out of consciousness. You know, when you first wake up, if someone wakes you up, and even a tiny noise can sound like insanely loud, or even a touch can feel really intense, because your mind's not all there yet, still rebooting. That I could see as maybe not even being a glitch in that context. May have been, you may have been in a new universe, but it's not related to the time glitch. It seems like there's also this space-time portal involved where you somehow traveled much further in a tiny amount of time compared to what you're supposed to be able to. I'm always fascinated by that. Why they happen so often when driving, and also why they always seem to direct you still in the direction that you're going in, or mostly. It's not like you're taking one and you appear in a new country or in the ocean or outside in outer space. You know, it's all confined in this geographic area that makes sense to the person that experiences it. So something odd is going on there. It's not random. It seems intentional. Very curious. And also, just to reiterate, do not drive while you're tired. It's a great point to make, and not enough people realize just how impaired their senses and reaction time is when they're tired. I think it was like if you only got 4 hours of sleep, or it might have been 2 hours, I'm not sure, a very heavy lack of sleep. They compared that to the reaction times of someone that was heavily intoxicated, and they found that the person that was tired actually performed worse than the person that was drunk. That's really bad. Rest up before you go on the road. It's not something you can get marks on your driver's license for or go to jail, because how do you test for that, you know? You have to prove that you slept 8 hours before you can go on the road. Obviously, it's not tenable to police that, but it's still something you can control in yourself, you know, and for your own safety, really. Sleep well. And it's something that I struggle with myself. I try to at least get 7 cups. And if it's absolutely unavoidable, I would say at least infuse yourself with like 5 cups of coffee. So get that reaction time back up. I think you could just take a reaction time test. That would help. There's also decision making that is impaired, so it's not just your speed of reaction. I know life is unavoidable sometimes, and I struggle with sleep all the time. And it's funny running this channel and helping so many people fall asleep, but I can't do it myself. If I can, I love sleeping, but I hate having to sleep, if that makes any sense. There's too much stuff to do and, you know, experience. I don't want to bother with sleeping. And then when I'm sleeping, it's amazing. And when I wake up, I don't want to wake up, but it's this repeating cycle. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. And now time for the quote of the day. Lost time is never found again. Benjamin Franklin. Yeah, it's that ever-present Grim Reaper in the great distance, looming over us. I want to live forever. I don't know if that'll be scientifically possible within my own lifetime. And of course, you know, if we live in a simulation, maybe it doesn't even matter. Maybe I will just wake up and restart the game. I'd rather not risk it just in case it's not a simulation and, you know, there's no afterlife. I just want to figure out a way to maintain this body and mind to go on forever. That'd be cool. There's too many things to experience. Technically not forever. I don't want to be immortal to the sense where I can't die no matter what, because eventually you reach the heat death of the Because eventually you reach the heat death of the universe, and then what are you going to do then? Just drift forever? Or be in absolute entropy and you can't do anything? I want to have the ability to check out when I want to check out, and not have it just thrust on you, you know, arbitrarily. Because that kind of sucks. Too many places to go. And that's before we even unlock reasonable space travel. If we unlock that, well, literally, the universe becomes our ocean. The final frontier. Like the video, subscribe. Kinetic Symphony signing off.